Hello, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. Wherever you are in this world, I wish you well. Welcome to another episode of the Sacred Raven podcast. Grab yourself a nice cup of tea and let's get cozy. I awoke this morning remembering my dream. I would love to share it with you and then go over some of the symbolism it holds. I will not go over every single aspect of my dream, but I will touch upon some key points. It was a late afternoon, wintry day. I was pet sitting for a friend of mine. I stepped out the front door to see some family members and relatives playing in the driveway and walkway. It had snowed the night before or earlier that day. After a couple of minutes, I went back inside and they were gone. It was dusk now. The blinds in the living room and dining room were shut, and I opened them. The two dogs were walking around, and I remember wondering where I would be taking them for a walk because the roads were barely plowed and their favorite park was under a foot or two of snow. I also felt like I needed to take them out soon so they could go to the bathroom. I turned on a couple of lamps. My friend, who I was pet sitting for, and a friend of hers suddenly walked through the front door. They immediately started talking to each other and to me. I remember looking around the room. The first floor had an open concept plan, and it was a bit of a mess. The dining room table was littered with stacks of papers and random dollar bills. I started gathering the dollar bills together, thinking that the money should stay together. I also remember hoping she didn't think I was going to steal any of it, as she was right there watching me and talking to me. I looked at the dollar bills. There were a handful of $5 and $1 bills, but then there were a few $1,000 bills. Except the $1,000 bills had the amount written differently on them. Instead of it just saying $1,000 in the corner like all US money does, it said $1,000/$9,000. And it made me think there was 9 $1,000 bills in total somewhere, and that I was looking at only 2 of them. I stopped what I was doing when she asked me a question. She asked me if I would like to join her to a baseball game, one in which her and I would be walking out onto the field. I know she explained why we would be doing that, but I don't remember what it was for now. But I do remember immediately feeling like we would be receiving recognition of some kind. And I remember noticing the sun suddenly coming up from behind me through the windows. I said yes, and I felt excited. And then I woke up. So, when it comes to decoding dreams, it's most important to note that every symbol within a dream pertains solely to the dreamer. Yes, there are plenty of symbols and icons that mean the same thing, and you will find that across the board in every dream dictionary out there. But at the end of the day, if a particular symbol or icon means something special to you, then that is the correct meaning for you. For example, you could dream of a spider. Generally, spiders symbolize intuition, networking, community, and weaving your life in a particular way. But if you have always interpreted a spider to mean a deceased loved one was near, and most especially that you recognize that in your dream, then your personal definition is the correct one for you. With that said, let's go over some of the aspects to my dream. Maybe this will help you to decode your own dreams. Firstly, the house. A house in a dream represents the self, the dreamer. Each room within the house can represent different body parts and bodily systems. Depending on the dimensions of the inside of the house and whether you find yourself going up or downstairs a lot, can also determine how far into your subconscious you're going. In my case, I was in someone else's house. Finding yourself in someone else's house in a dream is a deep dive into your interpersonal dynamics. The characters or people you encounter, whether familiar or not, symbolize various aspects of your relationships and social interactions. The front door. Doors represent hope, opportunities, new beginnings, transformation, secrecy, mystery, and hospitality in dreams. The front door, pertaining to the physical body, can symbolize the vagina because that is the entrance to life itself. Where the door in a dream is located has significance. If the door is open or closed is also significant. What is on the other side is, you guessed it, also significant. The front door is generally associated with drama. It can signify that you are about to embark on something important in your life. And it can imply that you wish to get to the front of a problem. Consider seeing the front door in the dream as a lucky omen, in that you are in fact reflecting away negative vibrations. For me personally, this makes sense, that I stepped outside the front door to see my family and then went back inside and closed it, and I noted that they disappeared. Drama be gone. The windows and blinds. Windows in dreams contain both internal and external forces being addressed. These important images emerge in our dreams during specific times in our lives. However, depending how it appears, alters the meaning. If the house can represent the person and the mind and psyche, then the windows are the eyes of the dreamer, as you are observing something that is unconscious to you. Windows enable us to view without engaging, allowing us to observe from a distance in our safe zone. We absorb information from the outside world even if we aren't willing or able to be a part of it yet. Blinds on a window can be seen as a metaphor relating to being blind or unable to see in your life. Its ability to cover, protect, shield you from the outside world hinders your perceptions. Blinds and curtains stop the sun from illuminating your room, or possibly your mind and psyche, shedding light on the dark areas. A possible fear of being exposed or exposing yourself to the world outside of you. In my dream, I opened the blinds. I wanted to let light in. And at this moment of time in my life, I am currently working on allowing myself to be seen. Money. Spiritually speaking, many believe that dreaming about paper money reflects one's thoughts on manifestation and abundance in their waking life. In addition to being symbolic representations for your material needs, dreams about paper money can also carry deeper meanings related to our emotional well-being. For instance, constantly seeing torn or crumpled money might reflect insecurities regarding self-worth or feeling undervalued by others. In my dream, the dollar bills were clean and looked fairly new. I was simply putting them in order. Money in dreams is also about your heart and circulatory system. Money circulates in the economy and thus symbolizes your circulation. The number on the dollar bill also holds significance. If you recall, I held a 1, 5, 1,000/9,000. So the meaning of the numbers 0, 1, 5, and 9 are as follows. Zeros represent the perfect symbol with no beginning or end. And as such, in dreams, it indicates God, ideals, and goals. Ones are a male number, and indicates individuality and creativity. These are two sides of the same coin. The more individual you remain, the more creative you are as you do your own thing rather than follow the crowd. This number can also indicate that you are being selfish with regard to the subject matter of the dream. This number will almost always be shown with other numbers and is usually first. 5s indicate the karmic path in dreams. Literally, you are experiencing your world through the 5 physical senses alone. Dreams with the number 5 quite often show what you are obliged to develop on this path. So look for other symbols to indicate this in the dream. 9s are not very common in dreams and indicate that you are spiritually advanced. It is a reminder to follow your life purpose because within this lifetime, you have the potential to repay all of your karma and make this your last necessary earth life. It does not mean you cannot come back for another earth experience, rather that you do not have to. If you dream of 9, you would find yourself naturally drawn to learning about spiritual matters. And I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind this being my last time on this planet. Ha! And lastly, I want to touch upon the time of day within a dream. My dream started off in late afternoon, quickly transitioned to dusk, and then became bright and sunny when an opportunity presented itself to me. You could find out a great deal about your dream from the time of day at which it occurs. The day and the night are opposites on a spectrum of duality, discovered in the Taoist idea of yin and yang. Daytime can be yang. In dreams, it could signify active energy, masculinity, joy, aggression, ambition, determination, and drive. Nighttime is yin and signifies feminine energy, which is mystical, flowing, yielding, dark, and passive. Daytime is portrayed by light and awareness. Nighttime by shadows as well as the subconscious mind. Neither is better or worse compared to the other. Both flow throughout the spectrum from day to night, and both are essential to the life cycle. And occasionally, you will dream it is light during the night as well as dark during the day. This will remind you that the other element is always present, no matter where you are. For instance, if you dream that there's light at night, you might recall that even during dark periods, there's always light. And in my case, I went from dark to light by simply saying yes. Dreams are almost always symbolic, and they also can act as a premonition. Usually you know if your dream is symbolic or a premonition upon waking. It triggers your claircognizance, your inner knowing, right away. There are some dream interpreters who do not, in fact, believe dreams can be premonitions. But ask many within the psychic and spiritual communities, and they will tell you otherwise, including myself. I have had dreams physically come true. It doesn't happen often, but it has happened. If you're interested in learning more about dreams and decoding their symbolism, I invite you to research as little or as much as you desire. There are thousands of books and websites dedicated to dreams. Michael Sheridan is a dream interpreter from the UK. He created the Ashland Symbol Dream Interpretation Dictionary. I have used his insight, as well as many others over the years, to gleam into some of the symbolism of my dreams. And I find dreams and dream interpretation fascinating. If you have any questions, you can always ask me as well. Thank you for joining me in this episode. I appreciate you taking the time to share this space with me. If this has resonated with you, please take a second to follow or subscribe, leave a review or comment, or share this with someone who may be venturing down a spiritual path and has a hunger to learn and grow. I will see you next time. Stay cozy and take care.